Most every Sunday in our services at First Presbyterian Church in Tyler, Texas, we recite a summary of the law following the prayer of confession and assurance of pardon. We lead into it with the words, "For the Lord Jesus said." But even these words are quotes from the Old Testament. And the two commandments Jesus quotes summarize the two parts of the Ten Commandments: laws governing our relationship to God and laws governing our relationship with one another. Today we tackle the first of these summaries. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your daily devotional for Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. The Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke all record scenes where either Jesus or a lawyer quotes a summary of the law. In Matthew and Mark, Jesus is asked what the greatest commandment is, and he responds by quoting a passage from Deuteronomy and a passage from Leviticus. It is the passage from Deuteronomy we'll look at today. So Deuteronomy is set as a series of speeches by Moses to the people immediately prior to their entry into the Promised Land. In these speeches, Moses emphasizes the importance of remembering what God has done for them and of passing this knowledge on to succeeding generations. Deuteronomy 6 includes one of the most important statements in the entire Bible, and it is known by its first word in Hebrew, Shema, which is the command, hear. Think, hear ye, hear ye. And it goes like this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. The first thing you may notice is that the words as Jesus quotes them in Matthew don't say might, but mind. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. Yes, this is a difference, but not one to worry much about. Either way, the effect is the same. Our fundamental command is to love God fully and completely. You can see why we think of this commandment, and even though it doesn't appear in the Ten Commandments themselves, as so important that it summarizes the essence of the first four of the Ten Commandments: to have no other gods, to make no idols, to refrain from taking the Lord's name in vain, and to remember the Sabbath. But it does even more than that. It does more than simply summarize these things. It provides the most fundamental framework for understanding the entire law, and indeed the entire Bible. Here's what makes this summary so important. As John Calvin points out, the person who truly loves God will keep the commandments as a joy rather than as a burden. Ultimately, he writes, the man who comes to obey God will love him first, because wicked and sinful inclinations of the flesh turn us aside from the right way. Moses shows that our lives will only fall duly into place when the love of God controls all our emotions. Let us therefore learn that the love of God is the beginning of religion. For God will not have the forced obedience of men, but wishes the service to be free and spontaneous. No wonder, when asked what the greatest commandment is, Jesus doesn't quote from the Ten Commandments, but quotes from this speech of Moses. Obeying the commandments because they are orders is no guarantee of obedience at all, let alone of cheerful obedience. Obeying the commandments because we love God makes them no burden at all. What Moses says after all of this serves to underline its importance. He says, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. Keep these words that I'm commanding you today in your heart. Recite them to your children, and talk about them when you are at home, and when you are away, when you lie down, and when you rise. Bind them as a sign on your hand. Fix them as an emblem on your forehead, and write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates." To this very day, most Jews literally keep these words in a little container called a mezuzah, nailed to their door frames. And among some Orthodox sects around the world, you'll actually see men walking around with little black leather boxes called tefillin or phylacteries strapped to their foreheads with black leather straps, again containing the law in order to fulfill the command of Moses. We might not use mezuzahs or tefillin, but would that we would keep the command to love God that close to our hearts at all times. It would be a great thing. Tomorrow, we turn to the second portion of the Ten Commandments, beginning with the command to honor our fathers and our mothers. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.